We had a good Shabbos. Spoke about Bereshis, the creation of the world. Hashem created a heavens and an earth, and that there's going to be new heavens and earth being created. Why are they new? In what sense are they new? There is the mission to have dvekus to Hashem, to connect to Hashem, is only possible when it's concealed. When Hashem is concealed from us and our ability to feel the connection is something that we have to develop and aspire towards. The new heavens and earth is going to be when the Aretz, the earth, which means merutza, to run. Welcome. If you have a goal that you want to run to, that's what the earth represents. Like for the way it needs to pray, or not pray, but yes, Hannah? What if I need it? Okay, you can use it. If I have to look something up, you'll have to help me out, because Hannah has important needs in my iPad. The word aretz is connected, the land is connected with running. It needs to depend upon rain from the heavens. So there's a natural connection between the two. And it says, Eid yala min haaretz, from the earth comes a vapor. So there's a connection between what you get and what you deserve and what you've worked for. Rain is about the vapors ascending, turning into clouds, and raining down. We just had the prayer for rain started in Shmini Atzeres. The idea of yearning for rain so the earth should be quenched and should be able to be productive and give fruit, blessed is the fruit, is something that's only possible now. When it's reciprocated, and all of your tefillahs throughout your entire life, can you imagine what that amounts to, are responded to, you're going to listen, and it won't be as much about your yearning, but your awareness, or your coming to awareness of how you're the precious. Welcome, Menachem. Eishes Chayla Teres Baila is not a way to appease the feminism in us. It's an actual reality that the lowest woman is the N-word of the world. John Lennon said in a song that you can't say anymore unless your skin isn't white. So John Lennon would not be able to sing. I don't even know how they have that on any playlist, that song. But when the lowest, the malchus, the sphera that has nothing of its own and only receives, becomes the object of the precious, right? It's the crown of her husband. Then the husband, Hashem, reflects back, and then you listen. So in a sense, that is considered a judgment. The world to come is called the world of judgment because everything's predetermined by that point. The free choice is now. Later on, you'll have a free choice about which positive thing you're going to do. There won't be any opportunity to transgress because the spirit of impurity will leave the earth. The earth undergoes a transformation and is renewed. That's called Kikasher Shemayim HaKadashim Ba'aretz HaKadasha, when the new heavens and the new earth, the verse says. So the renewal is a complete ascendancy of one's own efforts, but yet it remains in two phases that I will get to, because it says there's still going to be an earth. So in a sense, there is going to be this running, this racing aspiration, this brilliant focus. There will be an earth, but it will be a new earth. Okay, so that's my introduction. We started yesterday. I jumped into the middle. The beginning part I just learned this morning is incredibly beautiful. It describes how what you're trying to achieve in tefillah and how it's reflected in the liturgy itself that speaks about the angels prostrating themselves before Hashem and how they seek to acknowledge and devote themselves to their origin. That's always the theme of Judaism. Find the source of everything, and that's where the truth lies. Okay, so I'm going to review a little bit of this inside the text, and then we're going to try and finish it this morning in the next 20 minutes, hopefully. Woodstock is a new heaven and a new earth. Is that a CSNY song or something? We were 500,000 strong. It's going to be a lot more than 500,000 strong. And I don't have a problem saying that's the blossoming, the beginning of awareness and enlightenment, because the Rebbe said so. That's when the Baal Tshuva movement started, when the hippie movement. People wanted to question their origin. What is our purpose? You have to know where you started from to know where you have to go. Got to get back to the garden. Okay, so we spoke a bit about how there's a natural rhythm. There's this idea of running to your source and then saying, wow, that's incredible. I'm going to just reflect on that. So you return to your state. You have a rhythm. You run to Hashem and you return to your mission. So that helps us understand the role of the arts. The earth is a ratzah, it's a running to Hashem. When you take it upon yourself to transform all your darkness into light. The Alter Rebbe writes in Terra Bereshis. Umariula missiku. And bitterness to sweetness. And what does sweetness look like? It looks like your entire heart devoted to a higher purpose, to Hashem. Shezeu b'chinas aretz, which is what earth represents. It's this yearning of purpose. And that is in a system whereby it results in the rains in your artsachem, in your earthiness, in your earth. Hu b'chinas hashuv. The rain is coming back into the world. So the vapor comes up, the rain comes down, that is the shuv, the settling of the world. You need rain to settle the world. But in the world to come, it's going to be a different arrangement. Because it says that I will cause the spirit of impurity to dissipate and eviscerate. And no longer would there be any obstruction to God's will by the earth or anything in the world, like it was back in the garden. There's not going to be any husk, no veil or concealment or obscurity from Gilu Yalkus, divine awareness. The Kenem Arvelay Kanaf Maracha, and thus it says about the future redemption that your master, your teacher, will no longer conceal himself. You and Nacharayes, your eyes will see your master, your teacher rather. Al-Kan Ein Sar, it's like the headmaster at school. Al-Kan Ein Sar Klal Inyan Bechinas Habitul Shal Hayesh. At that point, there won't be any need for you to say, I am a separate, discrete, conscious existence who decides to give myself away to a higher purpose, to Hashem. But that will already have been transcended. There will not be an ego in the very fragile, mortal sense. And that's the whole possibility for there to be the initiative from our sort of mortal, dependent, vulnerable position that we're in, there won't be the possibility to yearn for Hashem when the veil has already been lifted. There is no conversion of darkness into light. It will have already had to have been done, if you can handle that syntax. It's when you already see eye to eye. You are taught wisdom because your soul is wisdom. You will see that your Godhead will be you. There's no need for bitul hayash in Hasidic terms. To desire, to yearn, to have this ratzeh, like an earth that yearns for rain. To go out of the opposite, from the adversary. That's why it says that God promises to make a renewal in the earth. Perish meaning, it won't be like it is nowadays. The Alter Rebbe wrote 250 years ago. Bechinas ratzeh, where there can be this yearning, and some efforts from your part, from the lower world, because at least sometimes we slip into the lower world of, what does Maslow say it was? Survival or something like that? What did Freud say it was? That this will bring about a response. You won't need that initiative anymore to have that response, to have that inspiration, to have that success and victory. Just because then, when there will be awareness, even in the lowest state of mind, the lowest states of consciousness, or wherever we are, there is going to be awareness of divinity there too. Just like it is in the heavenly worlds when you're saying Shema. When you're teaching your child how to tie her skates or something like that, that will be just as accessible to be a divine moment as the peaks of your tefillah, of your prayer. So then there can't be an earth as we know it, running and racing to seek its mission, or to show its dependency and its calling for rain. That's why it says the mountains will melt away, because a mountain represents the way it has blitais, it sticks out. That represents this yearning, like the vapors coming out. Kaneda, me'inin, like Avram Shekaru Har, as it says in the idea of, not like Abraham, who is called a mountain, because he was related to the idea of love of Hashem. Then this opportunity to show your devotion, your love, and your ratzeh will be insignificant. Because even below, no matter where your eyes have fallen, you will see divinity there, and upstanding the divine will, obvious and overt. Therefore, the verse says that then there'll be a new heavens and earth, Ani Davka, specifically something that God says is His accomplishment. Dahainu mitzad Yisur Eila Bilvad, and that should be highlighted. Hope you have your highlighter and use it. Then it will simply be an initiative from our loving Creator to simply shine back of the thousands of years of accumulated efforts that you've done. Everything is just now forever the bliss of that garden that you created. It's totally independent of anything you have to say for yourself or contribute to the relationship. Because there's no need at that point for any efforts on your part. Rak levarer It's just to further clarify and transform darkness into light. Once you've mastered that, you can walk into the disco where there's Jews on the simplest Torah, take the Sefer Torah in there and take everybody out like the Pied Piper and do a kafas in the street. That is where paradise is obvious. And you simply do the right thing because you're uplifted naturally, organically. Well, organically in the sense that the divinity within nature is finally fully appreciated and becoming aware. What is it? What's the ultimate? What's the active sense of making something aware, proclaimed? Ki ein sarki sulisato rak levarer lehatak makashek lehayra. There's only going to be work done in further drawing out all the energy that was in the darkness and making light of that. But in the future to come, when you don't have to do any effort to accomplish that, that means that Hashem is singing back. Therefore the verse says that I make this new heavens and earth. Means that they still attain their distinction of being heavens and earth. You still have that polarity. You still have the earth which has to yearn, but it's going to be a totally different thing. Because then it will be divinely inspired and immersive. Mitzad atzmut hamasil, from the very essence of Hashem, the one who emanates everything, the origin of everything, the origin with the big O. Asher lo hayadayim mechina kazu b'chinas gilui bereshis hishtalshus, which this thing has never happened from the beginning of all existence, the beginning of hishtalshus. K'meidik si b'yem asais Hashem Elokim aretz v'shamayim. Inyan Elokim Zeh, as it says on the day that Hashem Elokim creates this heaven and earth. What does it mean? Elokim Zeh b'chinas hatzimtzum v'hester. This refers to concealment. So you have two divine names, one shines and one conceals. Sheshamayim haaretz de'achshav nimshaku al yidei Shem Elokim. Because in regular times, you have this interplay that works on God's divine name Elokim to be reciprocated. That's why it says that creation happened with God's name Elokim. It happens through a veil and it happens in a finite system. But from the earth expressing its desire and yearning for its source or for its dependence is the sweetening of judgment, that tzimtzum, and this veil of constriction. The Shem Elokim, that the God's name Elokim causes to allow you to have an opportunity to approach the light. Hamalin Mastir, and that divine force seeks to hide divine awareness. So it says on the day that Hashem Elokim, Shanikla Elokim Zeb B'Havaya, that the God's lower name in the sense of Elokim, of concealment, is overwhelmed by the awareness of God's four-letter name, Havaya, Yud Kei Vav Kei. V'zeu b'chinas aseis Hashem Elokim. That's why it links the two. Hainu yichud v'iskalus shemus elu yachad. That this is the unity of these two polarities of divine awareness and obscuring of that. They are going to be combined, united. And that is part of a rhythm. The order, however, starts. The angels race and return. So that the Israeli dance comes into the center, but they start from the outside. everyone links hands from the outside, runs into the middle, and says, wow, we're going to go back now. Ratzah v'shayiv. It starts with the Ratzah. It starts with the initiative that the souls in the world show for thousands of years. Avad lasid, but in the future, shehiyu shemayim chadashim v'aretz chadasha, that the heavens and earth will be renewed. Hu bechinas asher ani eisa. That's what God makes. In other words, not through God's concealment, but v'lo yaldei tzimtzumim d'shem Elokim, without the veil of God's name Elokim. The order reverses. Instead of it starting with the earth, the order happens the other way. So you're going to have yearning and all that, but it will be brought on totally by divine initiative. The heavens preceding the earth. Okay, so the waltz starts on a different foot. So in the future, it's the new heavens and the new earth. The order reverses. Hu bechinas asher ani eisa. That's what God does. He starts the relationship. V'lo yadei tzimtzumim d'shem Elokim, without the veil in the way of God's name Elokim. V'az yu shemayim kedem. Then the heavens will start. Ki ein sarik lebechinas kedimas haratzeh, because there is no need at that point for a preceding invitation from the soul. V'zeu yatzak barak. And that's why it says he goes out like lightning. Chitza, his arrow. Shehu bechinas gilu l'mayla l'mata, which is the divine inspiration, the arrow of inspiration, the lightning bolt. Okay, we didn't quite finish that. Maybe we'll just continue that. I think that's very important thing to focus on. How there has to be some expectation for this. You have to feel, the Rebbe says that you're crushed because Shchinta v'Galusa, that the divine presence, the awareness of Hashem, is in exile. That is the main focus. When you become aware that it's 31 years that the accessibility of a new era is in our reach, we have to just simply take this to heart as the true state of things. And the promise of the Rebbe is that is the gateway to actually living it. Have a great day.